Welcome back to another episode with Enduro Loft and Enduro Racing Pigeons. Today we have some very special guests and we'll be talking on the topic of moving or relocating with racing pigeons. We hope that you guys all enjoy the content and that you're able to take something away from this discussion that can help or benefit you now or sometime in the future. Thank you so much. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube at Enduro Racing Pigeons and also on Facebook and Instagram at Enduro Loft. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a great day. Enjoy the video. And God bless.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
I'm just getting a K for you.
Oh, there we are. James, hello.
Do you want the screen landscape or portrait?
It doesn't matter. I don't think. I think I'm gonna do landscape as well. Are you guys all doing landscape or are you doing portrait, Frank? Just because you're on the phone?
I'll do right now. Right now, the phone's up and down. What's that? Portrait?
That's portrait.
Yeah.
All right, that's
Oh,
landscape.
I can't really see the difference because I'm on my phone looking at it, so I don't see what it looks like on the computer screen. Are you on the computer, James?
Yeah.
No, I'm on my phone.
Hey, you got my shirt on, buddy. What's up? I just saw that representing. What's up, bud? How does it fit?
It's great.
All right, wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Frank,
absolutely.
don't worry, Frank. I'll get you a shirt. Don't worry, Frank.
Don't be jealous.
Yeah, I'm just
it's a good looking shirt.
It is.
Waiting on Romer.
What's on the front? I can only see the top of the wings. Oh, the old Enduro race club. Oh, you don't mess around.
I know. He's got merch.
Hey, I'm trying. Hey, look, I'm trying. Just a little bit of stuff here and there, you know. That's cool. Thank you so much again, James.
No worries.
I messaged Romer a few times. I don't know if you guys want to get started. I sent him the link. Do you want to give him maybe another couple minutes or
Yeah, give him a couple minutes.
Started?
I talked to him earlier today, and yeah, he knew about it. I'm just trying to see where I am in the camera. Looks like I'm looking off into space.
Are you on the computer or phone, James? I'm sorry, I didn't know if you answered me about that.
Oh, yeah, I said I'm on the phone.
Okay. Are you on portrait?
I'm on landscape.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do landscape.
But I'll do whatever you guys want to do.
There we go. I'm landscaped. I think this will be fine. Yeah, I'm just sitting in a parking lot right now.
Yeah, I was thinking for some reason there was going to be a phone call. I goofed, but I'm at the dog park. I took my puppy out. But you're in the same boat as I am, Kevin.
Yeah.
Do you guys want me to go get in my car?
Yeah. Because I'm sure Romer's he's probably just getting home from traffic or something, you know?
We can make that the theme, just like car talk, car pigeon talk.
Like that.
Do you think you sent two links? Were they both the same? Could Romer be on the other link?
Well, he hasn't checked either of my messages. I've been going back and forth. The first link, I don't know what. He just read it.
He should be good.
Hello, guys.
Oh, there he is. I hear him.
We're all in the car.
Hey, man.
Hey, James, go get in your car, buddy.
You want me to?
Romer is not joking. Romer is always on the move. Are you driving? Where are you going, Romer?
I'm doing outreach, but I'm going home now.
Okay. Are you gonna be okay? You're okay to do the call?
I'm good. I'm about to pull over soon, yeah.
Okay. Well, we can wait for you to pull over before we get started. Give you a few
Oh,
minutes.
yeah, I'm good.
Don't wanna rush you, sir.
How's everything, guys?
Everything is wonderful.
Good.
Nice.
How about you, Romer?
Not bad. Just tired. Like, my job. I'm all on the move, looking for veterans, homeless veterans in particular, helping
Mm,
them to, go back to work. So, yeah,
that's awesome, man.
it is. It's
Thank
pretty
you for what
rewarding.
you're doing. Thank you for what you're doing with that, and also with the project with the military veterans.
Okay, I'm here now, so we can have a short meeting or whatnot.
Yeah. So well, thank you all for your time. First of all, uh, welcome to Enduro Loft. This episode is going to be about moving and relocating and having pigeons. I personally don't have experience, but the three of you recently have all and we've all seen on your YouTube channels. We've seen that all three of you recently have had to relocate, and I just had an idea of maybe picking your brains for a little bit, just to ask some quick questions and maybe to help other people that are in the future or soon going to have to move or relocate and have pigeons or a loft. And maybe this discussion will help some people. So I just thought it would be useful. So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to speak to all of you. Thank you for all of your support, and thank you for your time today. Um, if you want, please, if you could each just briefly just introduce yourself for all of those that may not know or have not heard of you. If you want to go ahead and link your YouTube channels or your Facebook media, just tell the people who you are. And I'll just go on my screen because I'm just looking left to right. We'll go Frank, and then we'll go James, and then we'll go Romer. So Frank, if you want to just go ahead and briefly just do an introduction, please, sir.
Hello, I'm Frank McLaughlin. I've been in the pigeon sport for a little over 50 years, and I'm the owner of McLaughlin Lofts. I'm helped by my brother Dan. Recently relocated to Florida. Still have birds in Massachusetts, but I have birds in Florida. My YouTube, you can find me, McLaughlin Lofts, or my website, McLaughlinLofts.com, McLaughlinLofts. That's plural. And I have about 200 YouTube videos now, which is rather remarkable for me. But I've been having fun with it, and I have this will be fun tonight. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you again, Frank. Thank you. And James?
Yep, I'm James Robertson. Robertson Family Racing Pigeons is the name of my loft and YouTube channel. And let's see, I started the YouTube channel way back in 2015. And I only at that time posted a few videos, and then kind of got a little more serious about it around, I don't know, 2019 or so. But yeah, it's just fun. It's again, Robertson Family Racing Pigeons. Check it out if you haven't. We'd love to have you there.
Thank you, James. Thank you. And Romer?
Hey, guys. So this is Romer. I'm the founder and president of RPMV Project, Raising Pigeons for Military Veterans. It is a emotional support group. So we encourage the military veterans and first responders to utilize the pigeon as their emotional support leisure. And I've been doing pigeons since I was young. Started in the Philippines. There was a gap because of the immigration here when I migrated here in the US, joined the Navy and everything like that. And I started again a few years and started the RPMV project. And now from Texas, I'm here in Washington State, continuously uh, promoting the sport through my YouTube channel, Discover with Romer. And my loft name is Anchors Away. So Anchors Away, like so Navy. And Frank, I have to say, I thought I was looking to Bruce Willis, Die Hard.
Hey,
Well,
Frank,
I
I'm
thought this.
telling you, Frank is getting big, boy. Sun's
I was
out,
thinking
guns
this
out,
was
huh,
phone
Frank?
call. I've got a tank top on. I'm embarrassed here. It's like it was 100
You're
degrees.
in
No,
Florida. You're in Florida.
I'm in
Yeah.
Florida. Yeah.
So
Well,
there's a
thank you guys.
positive thing from northeast. What do you call that? Northeast. When Frank moved to Florida, that's the pump started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He hit the beach.
Yeah,
That
what a difference having nice weather year round over having a couple of good months if you're lucky. So this has been great.
is that just
Yeah.
a
Because I mean,
natural phenomenon? You move down where it's sunshine and great weather, and you just bulk up.
vitamin
You
D.
Yeah.
got ripped.
There it is.
Yeah, I
Nice.
got back into I started putting more emphasis on myself than the pigeons. So I got back into the fitness and nutrition about a year ago. I'm having fun with it.
Well, that's good. That's
That's
good.
awesome.
Well, as we stated, this topic and discussion for this video is going to be about moving and relocating, owning pigeons, and having a loft with racing pigeons. So the first question that I'm going to ask is going to be, how did you prepare for the move mentally and logistically? And we'll just, throughout the video, I think we'll just go in the same order, left to right. And it's just for how it's on my screen. So we'll just go Frank, James, Romer. So Frank, just how did you prepare mentally and logistically for the move?
Well, mentally it was kind of, well, I was lucky because I could keep my birds where I had them in Hanson, Massachusetts. There was plenty of room. I put them all in 4 big flight pens that my brother was caring for the birds. But my goal was to try to find someone where I could lease space in Florida. And I thought it would be easier. I thought there'd be empty pigeon lofts everywhere down here that I could, lease the room or rent the loft. And it wasn't as easy as I thought. It took a couple of months before I found someone, and he started building for me. And the birds did stay in Massachusetts, so it would have been difficult if I was actually had the birds in the house that I sold, because that was gone. And but I was able to keep the birds at the original location, and then once I had the loft set up, I shipped them down on Delta. And you can ship a box of pigeons if you use the correct box. Maybe you could ship probably 30 pigeons for like $180. So it's pretty inexpensive. So I flew back and I loaded up some of my best birds and put them on Delta, and my wife picked them up, and then I flew in that evening. But it was stressful for a while trying to find a spot for them, because I knew I couldn't keep them where I'd be living. We were going to live, in a small lot near the coast, be closer to the ocean, and you just can't get property, well, you probably could if you were a trillionaire, but you couldn't really get the room that I would need to keep the pigeons. So that's kind of what I did.
Okay. And then James, how'd you prepare mentally and logistically for the move and transition?
That's a good question. I mean, mine happened on a fairly short timeline. We found out that we were probably gonna have to move, just like in maybe March or April. And we sold our house last month in August. So I just had a few months to kind of prepare and think about it. But it really forced me to think about, my future with racing pigeons. And it was difficult because when you're moving a family, you don't know what you're going to get on the other side. You don't know if you're going to have to be constrained to some neighborhood house with the HOA, or some city with, ordinances that frowns upon pigeons and those kinds of things. So it was a challenge. So trying to find a house where there's good schools and a good, community, safe community, and also one that's pigeon friendly was difficult. So that was kind of top of my mind, was just, okay, how am I going to manage finding the next place that's going to allow me to continue forward, at least on some level, with pigeons. So I had that going on. But then I also had to deal with the interim. What am I going to do with my pigeons during this transition phase? And so I basically really had to be selective and decide, what, this is the percentage of birds, the number of birds that I can't live without. I got to have these. They're vital to my program. It kind of conserves the genetics, the bloodlines that I need, those that have, proven themselves either as breeders or racers. I just have to narrow it down to these core birds, and the rest I can, give away or sell. And then those core birds, I just basically loaned out to other fanciers and friends with the understanding that they can have them for, basically breeding in 2026. That gives me about a year to get settled, get a new loft built, and hopefully that can also benefit those who have those really good, proven birds. So kind of had to like make plans for different groups of my birds. Where are they going to go? And it was challenging, but at the end we got them all out.
Yeah. Romer, how about yourself, sir? Romer's frozen. Romer, are you sleeping? Can you guys see Romer? Oh, there he is.
There you go. Let me remove the
It,
Wi-Fi.
it just it just it, it just had you frozen and your eyes were closed on the thing. I was like, is he sleeping at the meeting?
My answer wasn't that long. Come on, man.
But I can hear. I heard the answer. So no, because I was in the unit and well anyway. So with my situation is totally different with Frank and James. Because I had pigeons in Texas mainly to breed them and to donate to the veterans, right, for my project. And I have some birds that I utilize when sending to the one law races for the syndicates and everything like that. So when I moved, before I moved here in Tacoma from Texas, it was emotionally kind of tough in a way because those breeders became attached with you already. You know those things that you dream about it, you think about it, you know, those kind of stuff every day. Once the pigeon bug hit you, it's there. That is the bug that you
Oh,
can
yeah, I
remove from
know.
you, right? So you while you're sleeping, you dream about it. That's that's the thing. So for me, before my move here, 3 months prior to that, I already contacted my friends from Florida, California, and in Texas. So they have the my personal pigeons, and once I'm ready, I'll get it back from them. But the arrangement is that they can breed the pigeons, take care of the pigeons as long as they. I mean, they can send birds to the one love races, and then we'll do the syndicates or whatnot. They can have the birds as long as they will take care of the birds. But the thin line is that what if something happened to the pigeon? So it's just the trust. So we should trust the friend, the buddies, or our partner in pigeon in regards with that situation. And some of the breeders for the RPMB project was already donated to the veterans. So, for example, those birds that was donated by um, Thomas Baldwin, it was already sent to the. Actually, he's not even a veteran. He's still an active duty in Florida, and we have traceable track with that. It's in the YouTube in my YouTube channel when he received the bird, and also the ones that donated by Sal Rodriguez. It was sent to California. So for me, it's hard not to have the pigeons in my place, but the advantage of having a YouTube channel that I have, I conduct loft visits to different fanciers,
Mhm.
and I still, what do you call that, please myself of holding pigeons of other people.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the good thing about that, what I love about the pigeon is that, imagine from Texas, I met people from New Mexico, Utah, Idaho, and then here.
yeah,
The connection that the pigeon
yeah,
made for us, the network.
yeah. So,
That's
so when you
cool.
were in Texas, you were living with the birds, you were close with the birds, or it was somewhere that you
Yeah,
had
the
a
birds. I have the birds with me, and I also have some birds to because my space was limited.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I
So
have
your
friends that
personal birds you lent out, but the birds for the military project, they've all been sent out, so you don't
they've
have
been
those
all
birds right now?
donated to the veterans.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay.
And
All right.
because of that, I'm gonna add on to that. We changed the way we donate birds now for the military veterans. Instead of me breeding the birds, we connect them to the fanciers who would like to participate to the program.
Okay. Okay. So it's just a direct thing. Um, well, this goes for anybody that had to move their loft. Um, what process did you have dismantling and moving your loft? Frank, did you move a loft or did you leave it there and you built a new one or?
Sure. I just lost some of the volume. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
we
Yes,
can
sir. I
hear you.
can hear you.
Okay. No, I actually, my loft stayed in, yeah, the existing lofts were in Massachusetts. I had a barn where I lived where I would keep birds for the auction site. It was three-story barn. We ripped all that out. So that was turned back into a barn, but my lofts still stand up in Massachusetts and my brother is still racing there. So I didn't
Okay,
try to
so
move, other than maybe some crates and minor supplies. I didn't really move much of anything.
okay.
I was pretty lucky.
You as well, Romer. You didn't move your loft, correct? You left
Well,
it there.
I dismantled the loft that I had because
Oh yeah.
yeah, I didn't move it here. But now, um, I don't know if you saw my video recently that I already have the benzene M3 M2. I got it from Seagulls,
Yeah.
and so preparing yourself, because what I found out here, the club here is very active, like in Utah. In
Uh-huh.
Utah, they are so active, the club. In here, in Pacific Northwest, the club is also active. As a matter of fact, I got lots of invitations for, what do you call this, to loft visit and interviews. It's just like, as a matter of time, that I can attend to the invites. So in regards with the loft, I already have my clock, and then I am looking for a land to lease. As a matter of fact, I am in contact with one of the members of the Tacoma Racing Pigeon Club, and he's offering me to lease because this is one of the clubs that they own their own property. They have their
Oh
own
wow.
building. Yep, they have their own
That's
building and everything.
yeah. That's something that I had in mind for what we have here. I'm like, man, we should get a property and start breeding birds and man, we just do our thing here like a club. So
Yep.
that's cool that they're already doing that there. And what about you, James? How about you dismantling
So,
and moving the loft?
so it actually reminded me of when I moved from Arizona to Maryland in 2017. I
Mhm.
just had a small loft back then in Arizona. It was literally like a 4 foot by 4 foot footprint with another like 4 foot by 3 foot aviary attached to it. So it was really small. And if you want to see what that loft looks like, I think it's like one of the very first videos I ever posted on YouTube. It's like racing pigeons on a small scale. But I donated that to some fancier. And what was cool was like a year later, I went and visited a different fancier. And he's like, hey, you got to check something out. And he takes me back to his yard, and there's my loft standing there. And he's got birds in it. And it's just super cool. It's like, that's neat that someone else is using it. And I had put a lot of thought into that loft, even though it was small, a lot of efforts. And I was just a poor graduate student at the time. So, I had to scrape, use some limited supplies, but it was cool to see that being used again. And that's all really that I wanted. It made me happy. And what was cool is this time, something similar. So, Kevin came out and he helped me dismantle the aviary. I knew that I needed to get rid of the aviary and all the internal parts of my loft. So I built and designed everything in my loft and the loft itself. And it was like a 3 month process. It took a long time to build all of those things. Well, I mean, the aviary came later. But I knew that in order to sell my house, I just needed to have that loft look like a shed, basically. So we gutted all the internal sections, the nest boxes, the perches, took down the aviary, and I had built it in such a way that it came apart in sections. And most of my loft were kind of in a little bit modular, the internal parts. But having someone like Kevin, who's getting started, where I could just say, you know what, Kevin, thanks for your help. I really appreciate it. You saved me, and hopefully now I can pass this forward. And now Kevin has those things. And it wasn't 24 hours before there's this video posted by Enduro Loft. And he's got all my stuff set up in his loft with all my purchases and stuff. And it was so cool to see that. It's like, wow, that's really neat. One, the enthusiasm
I
of
had to make
Kevin.
room, man. I had to make room.
That's right. You had to empty out your your trailer. But one, it just shows the enthusiasm of Kevin. He's really, really into it and has got his heart into it. But also, it was cool to see that just immediately put to use, and being, uh, it was a blessing to both of us. So it was awesome.
Well, thank you again, James. I appreciate being able to help you, and help you with all this, because I know it's rough. I know it's tough moving. So, um, let's see. I think we talked about some of this. Okay, what things, maybe tools, materials, or help made the process easier for you moving? What things, like, what's something that stood out that made the process easier for you moving? I think you mentioned about shipping the birds, Frank. I mean, putting all those birds in a thing and shipping them that way. I was thinking about how you're gonna move all those birds, because that would cost like $60 a bird, 200 birds. Like, dang,
Yeah,
Frank.
but see, I was lucky that I had, from all the importing and exporting I've done over the years, I had some really nice boxes. And if you're going to ship the birds on Delta, they have to be like a solid box, hopefully wooden. And the birds can't, like, they have to be screened. They can't put a beak or anything through a hole. So you just couldn't ship them in a box that, like, say a dog crate or something like that, unless you wrapped it in wire. But I could ship a pretty big box of birds that could, you say, it would comfortably hold 25 birds for like $180 on Delta. So my first group, I probably shipped 100 birds down, and then my wife went and picked them up with my pickup and put them in our garage. And then when I flew in that night, the next morning, I took them to the loft. And but yeah, the correct boxes for putting them on the airline is what really helped me out a lot.
Yeah, because
That's
I've never even
fantastic.
heard of that. I've never even heard of that. I mean, I've seen the regular single boxes and then the bigger shipping boxes where you could put 2 or 3 birds, but I never knew that you could have like a bigger box similar to like an overseas crate shipping a dog, but it just needs to be screened in, is what you're saying, because they can't stick their beaks out and stuff like that.
Yeah, what I used to do is take those dog, like the sky kennels, those big plastic sky kennels, and
Uh-huh.
open them up and then put a sheet of glue on, like a little thin piece of plywood in the center. So you would have two tiers, an upper and lower. And then
Uh-huh.
you could load each tier with pigeons, and then you'd wrap them in screening and tape them all up, and the airlines would take them, and you could ship a box like that, say on Delta, for $180. And the mail, it would have cost me a fortune to send my birds through the mail. So it
Well,
worked out.
that's a huge tip right there, I think. I think that's a big tip. What about you, James? What kind of
I,
tip, tool, or help would you say made everything easier for you?
well, after hearing what Frank just said, I wish we would have had this conversation 2 months ago.
Well, that's why we're having it now, because it can help somebody. So it's gonna help somebody. I
Yeah.
know this conversation is gonna help somebody.
Yep. Yep. No, that's fantastic, Frank, that you were able to do that, and it's good to know that that is an option. I've shipped dogs that way, but I didn't even think about shipping my birds that way. That's a fantastic idea. So we'll do that when I get them back for sure.
Yeah, it'll save you a fortune.
Yeah.
So in my part, I cannot answer in my behalf, but I would quote this conversation that I had with a pigeon friend. I don't know if you know Jeff Earthman.
Yes,
Yep.
in Texas.
So yes, Jeff Earthman. He used to live in Las Vegas,
Yes.
right? So he relocated in Texas a couple of years ago, and then I interviewed him when he just
Mhm.
moved there. And then we had a conversation in regards with how did he manage to relocate his birds. So of course, his young birds, he sold it, gave it away, donated it, or whatnot to his friends. But his main breeders, he brought it from Las Vegas to Texas. Imagine how hot it is, the travel and everything. So he mentioned that him and his wife they have a they had a trailer and put it in the kennel, the huge kennel cage or whatnot, and every 2 hours or more, not more than 5 hours, they have to stop and check for the birds. Imagine how tough things that we do for the pigeons, right?
Yeah.
So they we
Yeah.
have to stop, feed the birds or drink, make the birds drink and check if they are doing okay. So that's how he did it.
Yeah. So
That's
you just
interesting.
yeah, I think we do go above and beyond. My wife often tells me, I don't think anybody else does this for their birds. And I'm thinking to myself, you have no idea what these people do for their birds. But then there's some people that just, keep it simple too, But
Yeah,
it's just like Romer said earlier, it's like once that pigeon bug bites you, boy, man, it's worse than a mosquito bite. I tell you what, it gets
that's
you.
funny.
Um,
So I was gonna say, I was gonna add on to that. Having a network of friends who are also pigeon fanciers that you can lean on, whether they're local or somewhere else in the country, where you can ship
mhm,
birds, or where you can just have them take care of your birds once you're gone, or whatever it is.
yeah,
That network is huge. And we all know that this is it's a tough sport. It involves a lot of investment of time and resources, and I think we all recognize that. We all recognize that we all share that passion for the sport, just like you guys talked about earlier when that pigeon bug bites, man, it bites, and you've got it.
yeah.
We all know we love you. We love our birds, and I think it's really natural for fanciers to just be like, yeah, I'll help, no problem. And that's one of the great things about the sport is the camaraderie.
Correct.
Yes, yes, that is one thing I really do love about this, the network and the the network of people and the brotherhood. It feels like, just commonality. It's really cool. It's like a big club, you know. Um, did you notice any stress in the birds or changes in their behaviors?
Well, well, for me, uh, I was actually shocked that I got the loft was built, but I only had two flight pens, and then the breeding section came really late, like well into breeding season. I mean, it was probably April before I paired the birds, and I thought, oh, they're gonna just be crazy to mate. I mean, they're gonna mate in a second. I'm gonna have eggs in 7 days. The weather's beautiful. They're looking and acting like $1 million. They wanted no part of breeding. Like I could not believe it. I was so frustrated. After about, 3 weeks, I had like 7 eggs, and I might have had, 20 something pair. And it started so slow. And I still have hens, like good young hens that didn't lay this season. They were mated, they didn't lay. So that change, whatever, coming from Massachusetts to Florida, that change didn't sit well with them. And they were here few months before they actually got paired. But
Mm,
I would suggest if someone moves their birds, especially a long distance, don't expect great things for breeding the first season, because it really took a while for my birds to get going, and some of them never got going. It was a pretty disappointing year. I'm still breeding now, mainly because it was so slow early on. But that was the biggest shocker to me. And one thing I've always said, and you can see it, that good pigeons hate change. They hate change. So you can move a bird and it'll be miserable for a long time when it gets away from his loft. So I think my birds too were suffering from, maybe they were a little bit homesick or whatever, but I had a lot of trouble breeding the first year. And that's something to keep in mind for someone moving going forward.
Hey Frank, I'm gonna piggyback with your statement. So I had an experience. I'm not gonna drop names. Okay. There's this bird that I won from your best pigeon auction website. So I won it from the auction. And the pigeons are the handler, they are known for their really fancy loft. It has elevator and the pigeons has air condition. So when the pigeons
Wow.
moved, I received the pigeon. It doesn't lay egg, and then when it lays egg, it's so small. It's like it was kind of just like stressed out, like from from air conditioned loft to Texas,
Rumberlo.
you know.
Philippines.
So, but the good thing is that she replaced it and everything, and all good. It's just like a matter of time, like what Frank said. Do not try to breed it right away. Let the bird settle and everything like that. Because if you try to breed it when it's stressed, you're the one who's gonna be stressed also.
Yeah.
So in your case, Romer, did the bird eventually start to breed
Yeah,
normal?
it eventually, but it took like a
Okay.
year
Oh, okay. Okay. So it just took time. Like
because
Frank
I
was
was
saying.
so excited. It's a well-known loft,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
was like,
Like just
let me
that
breed this
drastic
right away.
change.
And
Yeah.
then I just realized the birds were in the air-conditioned loft before. So
Yeah.
Wow.
I think Frank
But
knows knows that, but we're not gonna drop names.
All you needed to do was to bring those birds inside your house.
I know,
yeah.
right? Full blast
Dedicated
the air
room.
condition.
Yes.
Yeah, right in the bedroom. They would have been
Yeah.
fine.
That's actually really fascinating to hear your guys' experiences with that. I haven't had much experience with that, but it's really interesting. And I think it really it kind of shows something about the birds, how that they're they're really remarkable creatures, and they know what they like and they know what they're used to, and it takes some care to really manage the birds properly when they're in transition, whether you're moving or you're importing or exporting birds. I mean, Frank is the master of that. I mean, do you also find, Frank, that when you import a bird that it takes a little while?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen in many occasions where you'll get an import and it will actually sulk for a year. Like it won't even coo over a hen, or a hen will show no interest in mating. But only the great ones do that. Like the stiff will mate in a second, will mate in the flight pen on the way home. But the great ones, they have issues. They're upset by change, and I've seen it over and over. And now with me, with new imports, the first year, I just let them. They say they let them acclimate, or usually the first year they don't produce anything that's worthwhile. So the first year I might take a couple of babies, just let them get settled in. Then the second year is the year to breed them. But it could be something to do with how much the change messes with them, and they don't really have the enthusiasm for breeding and mating. And it seems like if the birds aren't enthusiastic, the babies don't really amount to anything. But yeah, it's really interesting to see how they do acclimate to an area, to a loft, and it's tough on them when you move them, especially time zones or across the country or something like that. It's really tough on them.
But number one thing that I realized with these birds, they are resilient. They just need to adjust.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, they
And
will. They'll
gain
adjust. Sometimes it
the
takes some
confidence.
longer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Some take a little longer than others, to adjust. And I mean, I've had several years ago, I imported this Gearing's pigeon, and I love the pigeon. He come out of the basket. I was blown away, and I put him in the individual breeding pen with a hen, and he didn't even coo. He stood there for like 3 months and just looked like a picture. And then I put another hen, nothing. didn't even move, never even looked at the hen. And I threw him in with a group of pigeons. And one day I saw him cooing like crazy. I put him back in the individual breeding pen, nothing. Moved him back in with the mixed, in the group loft, and he was on fire. So I couldn't breed him in an individual pen. He needed to go into he wanted to be with the group. He was happy in the group. And then the first year he bred the Hoosier winner and all kinds of stars. The first year he bred, the first year he wouldn't breed, but the first year I bred him. But it was funny that, he had a nice setup, but some of them he sulked. He was miserable in that individual pen.
Mm. Mm.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I really, me just thinking, I mean, I like the natural system. For me, like if I was a pigeon, I would like to be in a natural system. You know what I mean? Like I
Hey
wouldn't
guys,
want to be.
you need to excuse me. I have another commitment. Okay, but it's nice talking to you guys, and I look forward for another session with the three of you. Okay.
Next time I'll
Thank
be in
you,
my
Romer.
car.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, sir. Thank you.
Good
Thank
to
you.
see you, Romer. Bye
Good to see
bye.
you guys.
Well, I know James doesn't have the experience yet because he just kind of is moving. But Frank, did you resettle any birds or like retrain any birds, or did you only like
No,
you took your breeders down and then just took some youngsters or
yeah,
something to train
it
down?
would just, yeah, I moved breeders and some pigeons for sale. Yeah, no, my loft's on set up for like liberating birds, but I don't think, yeah, resettling would be difficult, considering that they'd have to fly 1,500 miles to get back, and you'd lose most of them. So yeah, I didn't try that. But people who will move across town, or they have the existing pigeon loft. It's possible to resettle them. Whereas if you don't go too far, where you can run back and forth and get them until they get with the program. Um,
Yeah.
but I also, I've moved the birds several times. I've moved the birds from Quincy, Massachusetts to Hanson, Massachusetts, about 10 miles. I thought I could resettle my old bird team, so I kept them the same loft they lived in and grew up. I kept them in there for months, and then let them have babies, and then opened it up after being on the settling cage. And out of about 35, only 6 stayed. They all left their babies, they left their
Oh, wow.
eggs, they left everything. They went back to the other house, but there was no loft there. So my father built a little 4x4 with a trap, and most of them trapped in, but I didn't try to do it again because I couldn't keep going back to pick them up. So it's difficult sometimes to resettle them. Then I moved them
Yeah.
to Oregon, but I flew them out again. I converted my barn into a pigeon loft, and then I flew them out on the airlines. I could keep them where they had always been, and my father and brother packed them and flew them out. So I moved
Mm.
them, and then I moved them back to Massachusetts, and I moved them back to Florida. So I've done a lot of moving around with these poor pigeons.
What about you in the past, James? Did you ever have to resettle or retrain birds or something from prior moves, possibly?
I have had to do that. Yeah. So before I moved to Maryland, I moved across town, maybe like 5 miles away in Arizona, and
Mm-hmm.
I had already, as just about to start road training my young bird team.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that helped me resettle them was I did take the lofts away, and they had the same loft that they were in. So I just transported the loft. So they still
Mm-hmm.
had their loft. And then when they did go out, they flew back home and there was nothing there. And they had spent enough time out in the aviary on the landing board at the new location that they had honed in. And plus, it was only 5 miles away. They knew kind of where they were in relation to their old place. And so most of them did end up coming back and resettling, but I did lose a few.
And that was just in Arizona, but what
That
about the Maryland thing? Did you have to reset? Did you resettle or retrain any old birds, or just
I
start with the
didn't. I
just start
didn't. Again, it's just not worth the risk. If you spend all that time and efforts to ship breeders across the country. It's not worth it, in my opinion, to let them out.
Yeah. What new environmental factors like terrain, predators, or weather changed how you train or race from moving from the different areas? Did anything change in your programs of how you train the birds or your race routines or regiments or anything like that? Or does all that stay the same?
I mean, for me, when I moved to Oregon, I raced out there and not a lot changed. I applied the same systems. It just, you're racing a different race course, a different direction or something. But yeah, nothing really changed when I moved to Oregon. I only raced, I think it was one old bird season, one young bird season, because then, we moved again. So it was kind of a lot of moves in my last 20 years. But I didn't race, and I haven't raced in Florida yet, but I'll apply pretty much
Okay.
the same thing. I'm getting the bug to race
Well,
down
what
here
about
with.
but a big difference from Portland, Massachusetts, and Florida in terms of terrain and weather. So does that affect your did you see any changes with birds with success rates of returns from trainings, or was training harder in different areas or easier in some areas?
Well,
Like
for
has
me, it
Florida
was.
been easier to train or
Yeah, I haven't done it in Florida yet, but when I moved to Oregon, I raised a team of late breds because I got a late start. I moved like in the winter, built the loft, started breeding late. So I trained late hatches in the fall, which was kind of the rainy season. I was training pretty much through the rain. And then when I get into old birds, the weather was beautiful, but the birds didn't have any experience being mixed. So it took 2 or 3 weeks for them to get with the program, and then they flew great after that. But nothing really different other than, I was always racing west to east, and in Oregon, I was racing south to north, more or less. So, but yeah, nothing. I didn't really change much of anything.
what about you from coming from Arizona to Maryland, James?
I think in terms of how I trained them, it's pretty similar as to what I did, back in Arizona. I mean, the climate is quite different. In Arizona, it's blazing hot and dry, whereas
Mhm.
in Maryland, it's blazing hot with, in oppressive humidity. And
Yes.
and I guess I found that it was easier in some ways to keep the birds healthy in the dry climate. I guess that shouldn't be too surprising. I mean, it's like they poop, and by the time it hits the floor, it's like dried up almost. It's awesome out there as far as that goes. But that humidity added a little different element. I guess. I mean, as far as training goes, everything was pretty much the same. And when I'm thinking about the terrain, I mean, here we kind of have like these rolling hills. We don't have like big rocky mountains or anything like that. A densely forested area in Arizona, there were some mountains and then just wide open desert landscape. And I think that it'd be really interesting to me to see how the same set of birds do in different terrains. And I guess you hear that a lot, with when we're talking about one loft races and which birds to send to which courses, and trying to bear in mind, if they're going to be, flying over the plains of Oklahoma, or are they going to be flying out in California and have to pass over, the Sierra Nevadas, and everyone has their own take on it, but I would love to see, you know, large data sets on how similar birds do in different habitats.
Yeah. Um, I think I'm gonna do two more questions. This one is gonna be, what is something that you would do different, or that you're going to do different if you ever have to move or transition what's one thing for sure that you know, hands down, I would do this instead of this?
I would ship via Delta instead of USPS.
Thanks, Frank, for the tip.
That's right.
Yeah, as long as you use the correct boxes, people can email me and I can give them some examples. But yeah, you can, even when I like have shipped a big group of pigeons, like on my auction site, someone might have bought 20 birds. Well, it's a lot easier and the person can save a fortune. You know, it takes a day for me, but you can save a fortune by going to the airlines. But for me, I'm not sure. I think that if I move again, it would be nice to have the lofts completely ready before I move the pigeons. Because once you move the pigeons, you know, production stops, and then you kind of, if you don't want to Mickey Mouse stuff to push things along because, you know, the birds are there. So I would try to have the lofts really where I wanted them before I moved the pigeons, if it was possible.
That's good advice.
And then just let's just finish this off with just one piece of wisdom for someone. Well, I guess you kind of did that with the one thing you would do different. I guess the one piece of wisdom you would give to someone about to move, what would it be? And I think that the Delta thing, and I think that kind of all ties in. So, man, I think that's it. Do you guys have anything personally that you want to share or that you had in mind about the topic or discussion, maybe that we didn't touch on or discuss, that would be, you think, helpful or beneficial for people to know or to be aware of with moving or relocating?
Well, I think that James had mentioned it earlier, that really do your homework and make sure the place you're planning to buy, it's legal to have pigeons, to have a lot of pigeons, and you know, really do your due diligence, because I did have a friend buy a house, and then no sooner did he start getting set up that, you know, the neighbor in the town went after him, and his heart was broken. So I think do your due diligence on the location, make sure that what you're planning to do is legal, and I wouldn't try to just kind of sneak it in, because it only takes, you know, one person not liking what you're doing to really blow up your dreams. So it sounds like James did exactly that when buying his place.
So is it county regulations, or is it the HOA thing the biggest thing, or is it both?
It's both, but you know, HOAs, that'll kill you. And I actually believe that's one of the, you know, biggest detriments to our sport. You get a lot of people who are interested and want to give it a try, but they live in an HOA and they're hamstrung. There's nothing they can do.
Well, there is something
Yeah.
they can do. You can keep pigeons in the house, and then they can do one loft races, and
There
nobody
you
will
go.
ever know they even have birds. You know what I mean?
I know a few people who do have a few pairs in their garage. So
Well, but I
Yeah.
think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing for one lofts, for people to still be able to be involved in some way, shape, or form, even if you're only able to have two birds. It's better than not having no birds, I guess,
yep,
because I think that we all know and recognize that losing birds or having to give away or not having the birds that we've been taking care of that are our babies, it's hard to let them go, so um
yep,
thank you guys so much for your
No,
time,
it makes sense.
for all the tips and advice.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you.
yeah, keep it up. Keep up the good work, Kevin. You're doing great.
Thank you, guys. And make
Yeah,
sure
I hope
everybody
so.
goes and subscribes on YouTube. Enduro Racing Pigeons, McLaughlin Lofts, and Robertson Family Racing Pigeons, and Travel with Romer. Go follow all those channels. And anybody else that's doing stuff promoting the sport and hobby of racing pigeons, we just got to keep supporting each other and continuing it, because it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing.
Well,
So
that's
thank you
terrific.
again.
Thank you for having us.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful night, and God bless
Yep.
you guys. All right, bye-bye.
Same
Take
to
care.
you. Bye-bye.